Did you get the little thingy?
Yes, I did.
Okay, well, thanks for agreeing to talk with us today, Steve. And how's Boston doing today?
Typical January day, raining, cold,
Yeah,
but spring's on the way.
spring's on the way. It's getting lighter every day by what, four
Yeah.
minutes or 1 minute or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Let's start with Steve. I helped you find an opportunity for you back in, it seems like it was the summer of 21, was it not?
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about your background and why you wanted to start to look into franchise opportunities.
Okay, so I had a 35-year career in the finance business, both as a bond trader and as in management. Um, and I was able to take an early retirement package, relocate back to my home in Massachusetts, and so I did it. And I skied for a couple of months and then realized I have to do more than that. So, and I'm still young, and I was convinced by you to start looking for opportunities. And I have to say the search process was really helpful because, as you know, I was able to list all the things I didn't want to do. I didn't want to have employees. I don't want to have a building. I don't want to have a schedule that's anything but my own. So doing that sort of self-awareness inventory helped me come up with, you know, the choice that we actually made.
Yeah, I remember we kind of went down a few different roads. And I often tell people, you're going to think you want XYZ sometimes. And after, a few calls with the franchisor and really doing a gut check, you may go in a different direction. And I seem to recall there was a little bit of that with you. Can you tell us what about this? And we should say, we're not going to say the name of the franchise, I never do, but you're in the business of helping people find a place for their mom or themselves or their dad to live that need a little bit of extra care. And so that is called senior living placement. That's the category of business. What drew you to that particular industry? Do you recall?
So, in my search for what I was thinking about, what I wanted to do, I knew that I wanted to help either seniors or kids. So I kind of narrowed the group of opportunities down to those. Uh, and the when I looked into the senior business and kind of looked at what the demographics are currently and going forward, it's my own age group, with the end of the baby boomers. It struck me that it's a really good opportunity, a growing market, and you can actually get paid pretty well to do this. Um, I also had personal experience in my life having to place two family members in assisted living or brain injury community, and it was terrible. I mean, the search was really hard. There was very little guidance. What guidance there was stale. A social worker had a list that was, 10 years old. Places didn't still exist. So um, it was a very difficult process. And I realized, if someone was good at this, they could really help people. And the part of the model that I liked is it's free of charge to the family. We get paid a fee from the community when we refer people in. So it's kind of.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Um, let's talk about the real, and that is how bad was the first year and what was your biggest challenge? I always tell people to expect it. It's just awful the first year, trying to learn everything, but what was your biggest challenge in the first year?
So there were a couple. One was I'd never run my own business. I showed up every day and, you know, answered the phone, and, I was good at what I did, but I didn't have to worry about marketing or strategy or bookkeeping. It was all done for me. And I really didn't have much knowledge about wanting that. I mean, I have a business degree, but I never really did any of that. So that was one thing. As a sole proprietor, you're doing everything. Um, so there was that, and then it was just completely different business from what I'm used to. So my learning curve was very steep in terms of jargon and just medical terminology, uh, all the different um, insurance products, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid, knowing the difference, uh, tons and tons of acronyms. The whole world in senior care talks in acronyms. So I would constantly have to ask people to please explain. And the nice surprise for me was the people in this business are in the business because they want to help people. So it's just a natural extension for them to go ahead and help someone who's entering the field. And that's been terrific.
Nice. Very good. And then how long did it take, or at what point did you realize you were going to make it? That you were that you made the right decision and that this business was going to work out for you? Because in the beginning,
Sure.
that's always just a leap of faith, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did have the benefit of not the cost of entry was low, and I wasn't depending upon immediate income. So I kind of had the luxury of not having that pressure. But performance pressure is pretty strong. Always has been for me. So I started in like September or October of that year, and it was just a scramble just to get information and try to figure things out. The first full year, I actually did break even, or I actually did a little bit better than break even. So I thought that was a real win because I buried as many costs as I could in that year and had pretty decent revenue. And it, I went quite a while without having a placement, so working for free. But once it started happening, it was pretty consistent.
Yeah, because in this model, isn't it true that in this category of business that you do spend the first several months actually not even dealing with clients? You first go out and get the referral agreements with the facilities, right? So you spend months just doing that, which is not a revenue generator.
Right. Yeah. It was getting contracts with the facilities to say, yeah, okay, you can, if you refer people in, we will pay you, your percentage. And then, so I did all of that before I even tried to get actual clients.
Right,
I avoided going to senior centers and places where you actually meet human beings that will be moving,
right,
because I knew I wasn't ready and I didn't
right.
have so yeah, I spent several months not even trying for that, just
Yeah,
building the base.
yeah.
um, it was sheer luck that what I purchased was a secondary, it was an existing territory that someone
Oh, I
had.
forgot. Yeah,
Yeah, so the previous owner had done some pretty significant work establishing relationships. So even though she wasn't helpful in handing any of those off, it wasn't too hard to reestablish those. So it saved me a lot of time, and that was again lucky because I didn't really realize the value of what I was buying, but it was pretty significant.
yeah. Nice. I forgot about that. What's been the most satisfying thing about owning your own business for you?
Sure, it really is. It really is mine to um, make work or not. I really I'm self motivated, so it wasn't a I wasn't worried about not having an office to go to or making myself get up off the couch. I knew I would do that, um, but it fit in very well with my life. Um, there are weeks I work 7 days and it doesn't feel like it because it's at my pace or it's when it's needed. I still have plenty of time to do things with family and friends and vacation and things like that. So that's been very nice.
Yeah, I remember you took a ski vacation pretty early on. I was like, how can you still do that? I was pretty impressed with that. And then what's next for you? How you said you indicated that you're doing really well now. So tell us what's next. Are you going to scale? Are you going to hire? What's going on now?
Yeah. So again, not really wanting employees. I have scaled, but as sort of as affiliating with outside contractors. So I have brought in one person who I met through the business that was the intake or the admissions person at a large assisted living community. Been in the business over 25 years, was really looking for a change and wanted something with flexibility. So we talked for 6 months. She came on mid 2023, and she's she's supplementing where my expertise is not. She's a physical therapist. She has very good credibility when she goes into good referral partners such as rehabs. She speaks their language. They know her from probably from her days in the business. So that's opened up a whole category of referrals for us that is
Nice.
going to be very successful.
Nice. Well, that's good. I always think it's a great idea to offload what you don't like or what you're not good at and just focus on, your highest and best use. And it sounds like you're doing that.
Yeah,
And
it
it
took a
sounds
while
like
to
a
figure.
win-win for her.
It's great, but it took me a while to figure out where it was important to enhance the skill level beyond what I had, and
Yeah.
looking at other successful franchisees in our system, I saw the ones that really had great businesses had this one category. They were getting a lot of business out of the rehabs, and I wasn't, and they're hard to get into. So yes, it was a very good hire, and we're waiting for results, but it looks very good.
Yeah, you're laying the groundwork. Yeah, I always think it's interesting that people don't reach out to the top producers and find out what they're doing. I mean, I know that in some systems, there's always going to be 20% or so of the people in the network that are at the bottom, and they like to commiserate, right? Have you found this? And then there's the
Well,
top 20%, and they're too busy. They're just like charging ahead. And I mean, honestly, you've invested your money, you started this business. Why not reach out to those people? And you've done that.
and the
Mostly, I
good thing is
guess,
that's sort of the ethic of this franchisor is they really encourage franchises to help each other,
yeah,
and they make it pretty easy. And people are very willing. Very few people come in and start printing money.
right.
Everyone has a curve, and being able to benefit from other people's mistakes and successes has been great.
Yeah. I mean, I think all systems, whether they're good, bad, or maybe, in every franchise, you're going to find, um, areas where you think they could do better and maybe they're not supporting in certain ways. But at the end of the day, in all franchise systems, it is their goal to see you succeed, right? Because that's how they make money, royalties.
Mm,
They don't make money on the franchise fee per se. They make
right.
money on royalties. So it is everyone's best interest to see everybody else succeed. That's sort of built into the system. Last, I guess I would ask, what's one piece of advice you wish you knew before you started this business?
Um, I, I don't know that my diligence. I did good. My diligence for the business overall was adequate. I could have done a lot more work looking at the systems that were provided. Um, that's the one area where I feel this franchisor falls a little short.
Yeah,
Um, we all know that when you're buying a franchise, you're buying the system, and if you use their system, uh, it's supposed to work. And in this case, the physicals, like the actual computer systems, really have. It's like the early days of CRM. I mean, it's
yeah.
really so that's been a hindrance. Um, I couldn't have changed it anyway, so I guess it's not a regret. It's just a bit of a gripe.
Right. And, I think that's great that you're willing to share that because things are not going to be perfect in any franchise. There's going to be something that you don't like about it. And I mean, honestly, if you think back, how could you have figured that out? I mean,
Right.
how would have you even known to ask people, hey, how do you find the CRM? You know?
Right.
It's
Yep.
just one of those weird things. And hopefully they hear that feedback from everybody and they're working on it. And over time, that will be improved. Of course, changing CRMs is always a nightmare. We've all done it. And I
Mm,
remember for the brokerage business, every time we merged, there was a new system. And it was like, oh my God, 6 months of this again.
yep.
All
I
right. Well,
remember those
thanks.
days.
Yeah. Thanks for your time. It was great to see you again. I'm glad you're hitting it on all burners, and we look forward to watching you grow.
Great. Thanks, Jane.